That shouldn't be there. Hey, Frank. I'm just waiting on some more people to come in. It's Freedom Friday. We gonna talk today. Like, share. Hey, Keita. Hey, my twin, triplet cousin, sister. How are you? I'm gonna give it a little more time. How y'all feeling today? I hope y'all doing okay on this Friday. I know I'm a little late. It's a little late in the evening. It's been busy, busy though. A little crazy. Keita, how you feeling? Carrying that little bundle of joy. Stay sassy, girl. Enjoy the pregnancy because once the baby's here, it's just all baby. Hit me with an emoji. Let me know how y'all feeling today. It's Friday evening, 9:40 p.m. I'm late, late. Y'all don't even understand. It's been a rough week. I don't know. God, grace, I don't know. Three kids, girl. It wasn't that bad. It's a little rough with this remote learning and trying to work from home though. Any parents out there with any tips about how to juggle this, I would appreciate it. Or anybody out there with some tips. Because it's kicking my butt. I'm trying to get something so my background ain't just kids or whatever noise y'all might hear. Can y'all hear me really well? Can you tell me yes or no? Because I know last week when I went live, I had some feedback and I didn't know until the video was over. I know you hear that. All right, Peter. So today, I really want to talk to y'all about purpose. Um, Let me get my TV together first. I don't want that to be too loud. But I want to talk today about purpose. So I know everybody was shook up by Chadwick Boseman, him dying, and how nobody knew that he had cancer or anything, and how he did all of those movies in between. And it's sad to see somebody so young pass away, but it really gave me, it had me thinking about purpose and living for your purpose because despite the fact that he died so young, he did a whole lot in those, I think it was 4 years that he had cancer and he was battling it. He got really skinny, and I don't know if anybody knows anybody who battled cancer, but you guys have kind of been following me, and I can personally tell you that there were seriously days where it was hard to get up or even see straight. It was like a week later, and it was hard for me to drive. It was all kinds of stuff. So to imagine him making whole movies, action movies at that, that's something else. But he's a epitome of really living your life with purpose. And he knew whatever stage he was at, he knew what he had to go through. He knew the surgeries. He knew what was ahead of him, and he did what he needed to do. He didn't lay down. He didn't fold. He could have easily laid down and said, "I'm not doing nothing," or said, "I'm gonna concentrate on fighting this thing and not make another movie." But he chose to take the role to make those movies and make history in the process. And then it came the day where his purpose was served, and God said, "Well done." And I think people are missing that factor that he had a purpose. And even though he died very young, he did a whole lot. He broke a whole lot of barriers. He changed a whole lot of lives. And he gave a whole lot of what's the word I'm looking for? He gave a whole lot of props to people and that passed already. You know, he did a lot of biopics and he gave a good image of those people and the work that he did. So I think it's important for us at this time to focus on the purpose. And last week I talked about depression and anxiety, and I talked about how finding your purpose is one of the things that can help you out of that place. And I've really been thinking about that because I felt like when I started thinking about reflect, restore, and renew, that was me coming into my purpose. And part of that was me diving into my spirituality. And I talk about spirituality a lot because I think that's big on helping you move forward in your life and living a full life. Um, but when it comes down to purpose, we really got to look at those things that help us develop that purpose and what our purpose is. Like, a lot of people don't even know. I'm 36 years old, and you hear me talking about discovering my purpose through a hard time. And a lot of times that's how we come up with our purpose. People go through things. We go through really, really bad things. And I think that's part of you, the breaking and the shaking and the development that you have to go through in order to get there, to find your purpose. Um, it's big. You know, people are heavily committing suicide and heavily anxious and depressed these days just because of COVID. And then you pile all these other things on top of it. Like, even with Chadwick, one of the things that was getting shared was this speech he did. And he did the speech, I believe it was years ago. And it's been there. It's been on YouTube. It's been something shared. But it didn't get shared that much until after the fact. I'm sorry. He'd say, "Yes, G, my best friend passed away at 19 from cancer, and she left the best parts of herself within every person who knew her." Yes, that's what happens when people pass away. Like, it's hard. We love them, but we have to really think about the fact that they're going on to be with God. Like, that's our purpose. This world can be really wicked and evil and hard to deal with. And when we find our purpose on this earth, when we do things on this earth, and a lot of times people don't even know they fulfill their purpose. You know, we know because they gone and they leave these little pieces all over the place just for everybody that can sit up and have a good story about them. And I know that's one of the things I've always said. You know, when you battle for your life, that's some of the things that you think about. What am I leaving? And like I said, with Reflect, Restore, Renew, I thought about what am I doing here? Why am I here? And what legacy do I want to leave behind? And my whole purpose with Reflect, Restore, and Renew is to help somebody. So it could be me and somebody else, or me talking to myself on here. I would hope that somebody else will watch and get some help out of it, you know. Um, but anyway, I want to jump back to the whole thing about purpose that I'm talking about today. But I was talking about Chadwick and his speech that got shared over and over again. The same thing happened with Kobe, and it seems to happen a lot, especially with younger people. You know, once they pass away, the impact that they had becomes greatly known, and their purpose becomes known, and the fact that they touch so many people's lives and they change so much within society that their legacy becomes something grand in their death. I know in one of my, I think it was my first video, I talked about Sandra Bland, and I watched her documentary, or I think it was called Say Her Name. I believe that's what it was, and it was on Hulu. And in that, she talked about Texas being her purpose. Like, she needed to go back to Texas. That's what she told her family before she left. That her purpose was in Texas. And as soon as she went back to Texas, that's when she passed away. But right before she did all of that, she was talking about how she thought she was supposed to do things with social injustice. Like, our purpose was in changing social injustice. And she started making videos talking about the social injustice. And so when she told her family about going back to Texas and that being her purpose, then she went there and she passed away at the hands of the police. Now, some will say that this was bad and she didn't get to fulfill her purpose, but in actual reality, if her purpose was social injustice, and in her death, her face was everywhere and became the face of social injustice, she's serving her purpose in that death. Now, it's very sad that she had to die for that to happen, but she started serving that purpose. And I'm not saying that you have to die to serve your purpose, or for it to be well known, but it's just an example of people living for that purpose. And sometimes that purpose comes in the sacrifice. And it's not necessarily a sacrifice they wanted to make, but it had to be made. And it's I don't want to seem insensitive or anything, because their death is definitely sad, and them dying at such a young age, and having so much life ahead of themselves is sad. But there's great purpose that came from it. Um, and like I said, it comes from tough situations too. Like, hey, hey, Miss Lane. I'm always call you that for no reason. But there's difficult situations, like I said, like Kanye West. I'm not gonna say that he wasn't on before he got into his accident, but the real thing that he wanted to do was rap. And before he got into his accident, he was not rapping. He was producing. And even when he jumped on Jay Z's table, you know, he became a producer. It wasn't until after he got into his car accident that he became a rapper and started doing the things that he wants to do in his life and for his purpose. And I'm telling you these stories because I want you to think about it. Think about purpose. Think about the things that you want to do within your life. You don't want to have to be at the bottom at your very last drop, or laid up in a bed and can't move, trying to think about the things that you could do or how you could fulfill your life's purpose or feel better about life, or to be at your wits end, to be at the edge of death in order to just figure out what it is that you want to do. You start thinking about all the things you could have did, all the things you should have did, or how maybe one more time I should have just went on that plane trip, or I should have just made that recording, or I should have just started that podcast or that business. You don't want to be at the lowest parts of you in order to do that. You can start thinking about how to fulfill that purpose now. Start working towards the person you want to be now. I know I've been posting a lot lately about being able to change. Because, I mean, God makes you new. And whatever your spirituality is, I'm sure that there is redemption in it. And you could become a whole new person and do all new things and be somebody totally different. And you don't have to prove that to nobody but yourself and God. You don't have to be anything that somebody expects you to be. You can change yourself at any point. Start fulfilling your purpose and being a person you want to be in this life at any point in time. You don't need anybody's permission to do so. So that's one of the biggest things I wanted to say about purpose. Now, we talk about purpose and we want to know, how do we fulfill that purpose? How do I find my purpose? A lot of people are out here lost, and I know when we coming up through school, they don't teach us about this stuff. They don't have you look for your purpose. They teach you math, they teach you all, social studies and all these things that don't really prepare you for real for life. And then you get into college and they ask you what which one major in. And for some of us, we don't even have that outlook on life. Nobody's exposed us to those things. Depending on where you come from and what you've been exposed to and who you have around you to help mold you and raise you, you might not even have exposure to all the things you need to know that you're able to do. Um, you know, and some people have crabs in the barrel. I'm just gonna be honest. They're surrounded around people who want them to stay where they are or not do any better than them. And that does not mean that it's just friends. That could be your mama, your cousin, your best friend, your uncle, your auntie. Anybody can want to keep you held back and bound. And that's why I be calling myself a chain breaker. Because my point is to help you break off the chains that keep you bound and stayed where you are, stagnant. You don't want to stay stagnant. There's so much life and so many things out here that can help you move forward, become greater and bigger than you are. You don't have to stay here. And if you need to hear that from anybody, I'm here to tell you, do it. Say yes. I don't remember what book that was, but it was also a movie, and she said yes to everything. And it changed her life. Maybe the thing you need to do. I don't know how you will find your purpose, because your path is for you. Your walk is for you, whether it's spiritually or however you decide to walk throughout your life. However you decide to get from point A to point B and keep growing and leveling up, that's yours. It don't belong to nobody else. Don't nobody else have to answer to it. Don't nobody else have to do it. The only one it affects is you. So if you stay where you at, it ain't affecting too many people except yourself. Now what it might do is hold some other people back because you scared and your obedience is dependent on somebody else moving forward, being successful, wanting to live another day. You don't know how you could change somebody else's life if you just get up and do what you are destined to do. So, how do we find our purpose? If anybody out there is watching and is willing to give some clues or some insight to how they found their purpose, can you leave it in the comments? Or some tactics that you use to do so. One of the things I did was I really dove into my spirituality. I really, really got into it. Surrendered myself. I started reading. I started fasting. I started doing a lot of things. I also started taking care of myself. Now, with the state of everything, I've kind of fallen off, and I ain't even gonna lie, this week been stressful. The last couple weeks been stressful. Just with school, remote learning, and all that I was talking about, it's become very stressful. But when you dive into yourself, you start self-reflecting and you start taking care of you, eating right, sleeping, exercising, reading, studying, praying, doing all the things that you need to do in order for your head, mental space, and you to be okay. Things will start changing in your life and start moving because you feel good. Because you're caring about you. You're in a whole nother space. You're working on you. Just working on you can help you move to another level. Y'all hear my daughter laughing in the background. Natalie, why you say uh-oh? What happened? And you got to start asking yourself some questions. Stop fighting against what God wants you to do and stop running. You will yield eventually. That is so true. Because if you keep fighting and you keep working that stuff, you eventually gonna get to where you need to be. Faith without works is dead. If you don't do nothing, you're not gonna get nowhere. So I want to lose 20 pounds when I'm not working out. I ain't never gonna lose no weight. I want to become a teacher, but I ain't never going to school. I'm never gonna get there. Like, as long as you put one foot in front of the other and start working towards your goals, you eventually gonna get to the spot where you need to be. And that's one part of finding your purpose is setting goals. Every year, I know people who do vision boards, or like I meditate daily, I pray daily, and those are two separate things for me. Um, but I try to do both daily, and that's to meditate on my goals and the things that I want to see. I visualize myself in those places. Now, have I gotten to everywhere I want to be? No, but these are the ways that we work on finding our purpose and getting towards the goals we want to get to. Because if we keep working towards them, keep visualizing, we might not land exactly where we want to, but I guarantee you land where you're supposed to be, doing what you're supposed to do. You're going to find some purpose in something you love. And what is it that you love? What is it that you would do every day without anybody telling you? Hey, Kaya. What is it that you would do every day? That you will wake up and do whether somebody paid you or not. That you're happy to do. I know I went into social work. I love helping people. My job is one of the jobs that people hate most, you know. But I kind of love my job. I like helping people. I get thanked often. And that's what I like to do. It makes me happy to help other people. I like doing this. I hate talking to people. I hate like this video and recording myself and all of that, but I love inspiring other people. I love helping somebody else get to another place or think differently or discover their passion or even think about it. Just if I can help one person, I'm happy. That fulfills me. I ain't getting no money out of this. This is just something I want to do, that I feel called to do on a daily basis. Because just because you see me on here don't mean nothing. I do stuff outside of here. My son is here and he's interrupting me because he wants to say hi. Say hi, Ryan. Okay, bye. Let me finish.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. So, although I'm uncomfortable, you know, I feel like God uses me in that manner, you know, and I that's what I sacrifice myself for. That's what I want to do in my life because I feel like that's what I've been called to do, and that's my intuition as well, you know. Your intuition will guide you towards things that become your purpose, things that you love, things that's your passion. You'll begin to do all of those things. And that thing will develop into something else. I have another one trying to say hi. Come on, hurry up. You have to put your face in. That's Peyton. But I sat back and I tried to figure out my purpose because I wasn't willing to lay down and die. I wasn't willing to just be on drugs and be high all the time and just melt away with life. So I had to find, you know, my passion and stuff for living. And I think it's important to do. And I want to encourage other people to do that. You know, find your passion, find your purpose, self search, spiritually search. Find all the things that you need to do. Okay, I can't focus because I got kids in my room right now. Okay, so everybody say hi so I can get back to what I was doing. That's Jaden, Rylan, Peyton. Now, good night, children, because it's late.
Okay, bye-bye.
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 Kai asked me how has my pain helped me lean into my purpose.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Like I said, I had those days where I was really, really low, and I was not willing to actually sacrifice, kill myself or anything, and I wasn't willing to just be on drugs and stuff. And I've always felt like God has had a bigger purpose for me, and I've always chased after God because I feel like that's where my understanding is. And so going through all of the things that I've gone through, I haven't explained my whole story or anything to anybody. Well, any of you watching, but most of you know some. And the things that I've gone through have taken me to such a low place that I had to figure out how I can live and what am I fighting for to live for. And one of those things was like leaning on purpose, me finding a purpose. Once I started diving into Reflect, Restore, Renew, and trying to figure out how my pain could be used to help somebody else, that's when I found purpose. That's when I found a reason to live. It gave me excitement about each day. It gives me excitement to pray and search for a topic or things to talk to you about, for to ask God to seek me, to seek through me, search through me, and give me a good word. Those things gave me absolute purpose. And there is purpose in your pain as well. All the things you go through are not for no reason. I feel like the more pain you go through, the more glory God gets out of that. And you will come out of it. Nothing lasts forever. Nothing. Everything is temporary. Even us being here is temporary. But your temporary time here, what are you going to do with it? We not here for long. Some of us, our time is really short. And people like me who go through stuff like cancer or have people close to them that go through things like that, you take a real good look at life and wonder why you're here. And wonder why you're going through the things you're going through and what you need to do to come out of that. Because when you're really low, that's when God is the strongest. Do you hear me? That's when you just seek. You can't pray, ask somebody else to pray for you. Or just talk to him. Like, I encourage y'all. I know people tell you don't talk to God like that, but I done yelled through my living room. Walked around yelling, screaming, crying, begging. Plenty of times. Plenty of times. And I know I've been heard. And I have a relationship. It's not a religion for me. I have a relationship with God. When I'm angry, I call out. When I'm happy, I praise. When I'm sad, it's everything. So part of your purpose is wrapped up. Part of that pain is wrapped up in Him getting the glory out of everything. It's not for no reason. And don't you ever lay down and think that your pain is for no reason. It is temporary. You will come through it. You will get through it. And it will pass. This too shall pass. It will pass. I guarantee you. So, going back to, the things with purpose, glory was it. Spirituality. What else I say? There's a purpose in your pain. Doing things you love. Finding what it is that you love, that you have a passion for. Doing that. Setting goals. I'm just recapping some of the things I talked about with finding your purpose. Vision boards, visualizing, meditating, praying, Doing all of these things can help you find your purpose.
You can also create your own
Purpose statement. Sit down, write it out. What is your purpose in this life? When I created Reflect, Restore, and Renew, I sat down and I made a real purpose statement so that I knew what it was that I wanted to aim towards. You know, this is just one of the things that I have a purpose for.
just one that gave me purpose. My children
Also give me purpose.
do I feel like
You know, God gave me those children specifically to pour into, to do something with.
so I spend my time
Pouring into them, raising them, molding them, doing the things that I need, that I feel is necessary or that God puts on my heart to help them, pouring love into them, creating other little humans that I hope to become productive adults. That is a purpose.
your purpose can be small. It can be
Big, but I guarantee you it all makes a difference.
hold on one second, y'all.
What?
No, I didn't call you. Come on. I talked about intuition.
Feeling those things. And your intuition can become stronger the stronger you become in your spirituality. The closer you get,
The more you dive
into your spirituality, the clearer you can see, the clearer you can hear,
the more things become clear to you so that you can work towards
your purpose and the things that you want to do in this life, that you are put here to do, what your destiny is, what your calling is. You can also think about what's made you the happiest.
okay. What's the time when you've been super happy?
Nobody can like shake that or break that. When do you feel the happiest? Doing what?
That's where your purpose lies.
That's where you can make a difference in this world.
That's where you can help somebody else. That's where you can put a smile on somebody else's face. You know, doing
Those things
that make you just blissfully childlike happy. Your purpose is tied up there as well. And like I said, these
life lessons, do not let them go in vain.
life lesson, the things you go through,
those heartaches,
those family problems, those relationships, because relationships come in so many forms. All those things
can direct you to your purpose.
So I encourage you today to do something every day
to work towards your purpose. We're going to make that a goal as a group for a week. For the next week,
write your goals down. Meditate on them. Create a personal
purpose statement.
Do those things
this week.
Help yourself find something
new. If you're in a group and you want to share something that you had enlightenment of,
do that.
Let us know. Or you can tell me personally, or just write it in your journal, because everybody doesn't like to share.
But do something to work
towards the purpose that you have. Use the deaths that we've seen lately. I mean, we had Kobe, we had Chadwick, we had a whole bunch of them. And then we have these black people. I'm not just going to say black men. Black people being shot and killed in the streets every day. There's literally a war going on.
And I don't just mean
with the shooting. I mean with everything that's going on. There is spiritual warfare going on. It's important
for you to stay grounded and
find your way and your path. Don't get wrapped up in the news. Don't get wrapped up in everything going around you that you're spinning out of control, because it can be overwhelming. Life is overwhelming enough right now.
Take things one step at a time.
Focus.
Stay clear. Do these things all week.
Do something
All week to focus on your path and your purpose. I want to help you.
Seek it out if you're feeling lost. Anytime y'all want to have a conversation, you can always hit me up. My inbox is open. I have an email for the group. It's called rrrchainbreaker@gmail.com. Reflect, Restore, Renew has a
Instagram page.
We have a Facebook group. Join the group. I try to spread some positivity in there. Life's been a little overwhelming, so I've been a little off, but I want to spread this positivity. I want us to have a family of positivity, a support group. I also want to do a Zoom for all of us that are struggling right now, like a support group, because it's hard and people feel like they out here alone, and you're not out here alone. It's a lot of us having a difficult time right now with the way that life is going, and we need support. We need help, and we need to lean on each other.
Thank you, Natalie. Yes. So,
seek out your purpose.
So last week I forgot
to give y'all 3 things that I usually give in my videos, and that's because I'm not used to doing lives. But I ain't forget this week. I got your quote. Let me get it for you. So the first quote, the quote that I want to give you is, "The mystery of human existence lies not in just staying alive, but in finding something to live for." Meditate on that quote.
Think about it.
Journal about it. Find a purpose. Find something to live for. Work toward it. Do not let your life be in vain. You are not here for no reason. You have a purpose in this life. God, the Bible says, God's purpose is to give you hope in the future, not to hurt you, not to harm you. You have purpose. You shall live and not to die. Your Bible verse. I just gave it away. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope in the future. That is Jeremiah 29:11. Stick with it. See it through. Don't give up. You have purpose. You have a reason to live. You have a reason for being here. There's someone counting on you to do what you're supposed to do, for you to find your purpose, for you to move forward, for you to live life. Make a difference. Don't feel like anything is too small. Just you raising your children, being a good father, being a good mother can be the difference that you are made to have in society. It can be bigger. You could be the CEO of some company that makes a huge difference in life. But I encourage you to seek that out and not let it have to be you being at your wit's end, or at the bottom, or the end of your rope, hitting rock bottom, or super sick or close to death, for you to find your purpose. Seek it out now. Life can be short. We don't know how long we have. Just seek it out. Do it now. Don't wait for the last minute. I love y'all. I wish y'all the best. I hope you have a good weekend. Be safe this Labor Day. If you need me, reach out to me. I am here. I promise you that. My purpose is to spread love, to help others, to use my pain to help somebody else. What's yours?